Today on JNN, we look at the history of Gregori's Renaissance program.
Jared Perez brings us Out of the Box.
Dylan Longton and Prescott Yang highlight a student's unique interests.
And we finish with another installment of Wired.
All this and more on today's JNN.
Good morning, Gregory High. I'm Michaela Meyer.
And I'm Mason Lewis. Today is Friday, February 24th. The Renaissance Rewards program has been a part of Gregori since the school first opened. David Rosas and Kelly Kiernan bring us the history of the program.
Renaissance cards.
Renaissance cards have been a part of our school since it opened in 2010. But does anyone know the history behind it? The Renaissance program has been around for almost 30 years, and with Joe Gregori's help and Jim Foff by his side, the duo worked to localize the program, bringing it to Modesto City Schools.
He was hook, line, and sinker a Renaissance man. Joe was looking for something that he believed in to bring to the school, and another teacher and administrator had gone to a conference and heard about this program from the Jostens Corporation called Renaissance. And it was actually big in the southern parts of the U.S. and had hardly come out to the West Coast yet. He went to one of the conferences, a national conference, heard a motivational speaker named Larry Biddle. And after he heard of Larry Biddle, then started to work with staff about how we bring this program to Downey High School. And then in turn, it's come out to many different schools in the area. Larry Biddle said schools do a great job of promoting the athletes on the school. Why aren't we doing the same thing to promote academic achievement? And he said, we can do the same thing with student achievement if we promote the right way. And here are some ideas of what you can do, but then every school has to put their own touch on it.
And so our Renaissance program here at Gregori is based on grades and attendance and an increase in your GPA.
So you could have a student who has all Fs and moved up to all Ds. And as long as they made a 0.5 GPA improvement, they were making improvement and you could celebrate their success.
Well, I think it positively affects the students by encouraging them to achieve, a higher GPA, because if you get that 0.5 increase, that entitles you to a Renaissance card.
Before Renaissance, if you had an awards assembly, it was where everybody sits in the auditorium and you call up the names and you give a certificate. Renaissance said, paper's nice, but something you can eat, something you can wear is a lot better.
As the activities director and leadership teacher, I have committees within our leadership team, kind of tries to decide like what have we had in the past, what haven't we had, what can we do with our budget, and then goes from there.
I think Day on the Green is a really big one. Everybody wants to go to that and they don't want to miss out on all the fun. So by having rewards that encourage and motivate our students to be more successful, that's the way the Renaissance program works.
Again, it comes with this passion, this excitement to do something neat for students. That is what Joe Gregori was about.
Reporting for JNN, this has been David Rosas and Kelly Kiernan.
Thanks, guys. Students, keep up the good work and you'll have the opportunity to participate in Day on the Green in May. Today marks the end of National FFA Week. There have been dress-up days all week to celebrate our FFA department, and various lunchtime activities were held every day. On Thursday, FFA students continued an annual tradition where a teacher is to kiss a farm animal. The FFA festivities come to a close today at lunch, where there will be a petting zoo held in front of the M building. To bring us the latest news on campus, we have Catherine Swartz with the JAG update.
Thanks, Mason. Dance production for next year is by audition only. Go to the dance room on March 10th at 3 p.m. to audition. There's only a few days left to sign up for the track team. See Mr. Biven ASAP for more information. And finally, there will be a game night tonight in the Rainforest Cafe at 7 p.m. Admission is free. That's all the announcements I have today for JAG Update. I'm Catherine Swartz.
You get to learn a lot about our community and what we're about, and especially with the DSU Club, we go over it a lot. Some people don't think this month is important, and I think that's not right.
At my church, we have this Black History Month, and we do like characters that are like African American, and we do like poems.
As African Americans, we should respect, appreciate, and cherish our culture and how many triumphs we've made throughout the decades. It teaches us about what we went through and how we became what we are today.
And as Black History Month comes to an end, here's Jared Perez wrapping up the winter sports season with Out of the Box.
They've released me from the studio, and I'm reporting on the scene at the soccer fields, the gym, and all around campus to bring you the latest in sports news. And now that I'm out of the box, I may never go back. We are interviewing 5 boys who made it to Masters in Wrestling. In order, Eric Sanchez, Julian Villarreal, Aiden Villavicencio, Mikey Villavicencio, and Ethan Villavicencio. And in addition to that, we have 2 girls that made it to state, Liliana Vergara, and with her, Bailey Laughlin. So what's the difference between pinning an opponent and winning by points?
It's pinning an opponent is when you just hold them down on their back. For their back's pretty much on the floor for 3 seconds. Ref counts it down, hits the mat, it's pin. Points is just you shoot, you get either get a 2 takedown, or second period you choose top bottom. You get an escape or you get a reversal, and escape's 1 point, reversal's 2.
How did you earn that medal under your name?
I pinned the Downey kid, I beat the Mohawk kid, and then I pinned the Davis kid without scoring any points.
So you pinned every single kid.
Not the Mohawk kid.
But you still pinned a lot of kids though, right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
This big one right here is the MMC League Championship medal. So basically you just have to win the league to acquire this one. And then these 2 right here are divisional medals. So if you place in divisionals and move it on to Masters, they'll give you these little medals right here.
Have you ever been to state before in any other capacity?
I made it last year as a freshman, and I went to state all 3 years in middle school.
So in other words, you're a big deal.
I guess so.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? We're in the presence of a superstar. Do you have any outside training that's really helping you during wrestling?
Usually off season, and sometimes after our practices, we go and train at our gym. It's called Ultimate Athlete. It's a jiu-jitsu gym, and it really helps with our wrestling because we can use it to cut weight or work on technique that we can't work on at school.
Do you know who you're going to face this weekend?
There's 4 girls I wrestled and I beat before, but there's other 2 I kind of have to watch out for.
On behalf of JNN, I'd like to congratulate the girls on qualifying for state and the guys on qualifying for Masters. The guys are competing for Masters today and tomorrow at the Stockton Arena, while the girls compete for state in Visalia.
Thanks, Jared. Catch him next time covering the beginning of spring sports season. Now, Dylan Longton and Prescott Yang highlight student Anthony Fort, whose interests in both birds and art blend together.
My name is Anthony Fort, and I am a digital and traditional artist, and I also enjoy birds and have my own little menagerie of birds.
Anthony knows more about birds than pretty much anybody I've ever met, if you want to know the truth. He takes everything from a bird point of view. Like all the genetics and stuff we do, when most kids are thinking in terms of humans, he's thinking in terms of birds.
My inspiration, it was an inherent ability of mine. Like I started when I was 2, and I drew like a really crude dodo. That was the very first drawing, and I didn't stop, but I didn't like really progress until middle school, and it was kind of a vent from the issues of like the students there. 'Cause I went to a private school, and the kids weren't friendly at all. It was a very like privileged school. So I took my frustrations, and instead of like beating up kids, I took it into art and like researching animals.
One of the more talented kids I've had in the last couple years. Loves color. Most of his stuff is computer generated.
A lot of people come to me and they want to know how to draw, and then their first sketch looks utterly terrible and they want to quit, So it's just a matter of time and effort.
He's a unique kid. He's different from almost any kid I've ever had in my teaching career. His knowledge of the avian world is incredible. It's just a lot of people have hobbies, and this is his hobby.
I've been doing this for 15 years, and I'm nowhere near the point I want to be at.
Thanks, guys. Finally, Faith Brown brings us Wired. Let's take a look.
Welcome to Wired. I'm Faith Brown, and today I'll be talking about 3 great sci-fi series on TV right now. The first one up is 100. It's about 100 teenage prisoners who go down to Earth to see if it's still habitable, and soon realize they aren't the only ones there. The first season raises some intriguing questions, but it has a pointless love triangle and is a bit slow to start. The creators of the show fix all of that in Season 2 by creating compelling storylines and characters and dropping those love stories. The 100 is on the CW network, as well as Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon. A second great sci-fi series is a show called Rick and Morty, a cartoon created by Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland. The show is about a sociopathic scientist who takes his grandson on all these crazy interdimensional adventures. The show can go from laugh-out-loud hilarious to just plain messed up. It's a very creative and unpredictable series that continues to surprise. Rick and Morty can be found on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim and Hulu. And coming in at number 1 is Legion, a show created by Noah Hawley, the creator of Fargo, the TV show. This series is about David, a man with schizophrenia who can move things with his mind. It is very interesting, but it's also very confusing. It goes back and forth from the present to David's memories, which develops the story in a very unique way. So far, it has created a great setup for compelling characters and storylines. Legion isn't on streaming services, but you can watch on Xfinity, on demand, or on the FX website. Well, that's it for today's Wired. I'm Faith Brown, signing off.
Thanks, Faith.
That's it for JNN this week.
Don't forget, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, all at JagNewsNetwork.
I'm Michaela Meyer.
And I'm Mason Lewis. See you next time.